in the data center industry are working with an environment that has seen timelines for deployment just constrained and constrained and constrained and constrained even more. Not just hyperscalers. So from a perspective of hyperscalers and operators and co-location providers, really across the board, how important is that to ultimately help bring a facility online faster and compress that timeline?
Well, it's hugely important. The earlier you can start, the better. And if you can create a team, I mentioned earlier the EPC contractors, the hyperscalers, and us, right, that work together. We bring our many, many years of expertise in making a power plant actually work, together with the EPCs that can design the power plant. And we work together with the hyperscalers to understand what their goals are, right? And we get this design going way up front.
Mm-hmm.
There's something else that we do that we didn't even talk about yet. We have, it's a very well-known term, a digital twin. Everyone says digital twin, but ours is very unique because the digital twin that we have is you build a digital twin using the same software, the same control builder that you use to build the plant logic.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're building the logic for the plant early on in the process, we can also build a first principle thermodynamic model, if it's a combined cycle plant, of the entire combined cycle plant way before the plant is even built.
Oh, wow.
Right? So you have all of the design of the logic that you can check out virtually with this first principle mass balance model before anything's even on the ground. So by the time you do get to the startup, all the logic's checked out, the database is checked out, and all you have to do is the loop checks in the field, basically. Just the loop checks to make sure all the I/O's there, and you've already checked everything out. So that's an advantage of work together early and often.
And plus, you threw a really cool piece of technology there, like a style, a type of digital twin that helps you accelerate the deployment. Like speed to market and time to market. I mean, I got to tell you, that's like one of the biggest like pointers and factors of like, here's what we need to focus on. How do we get this thing up and running faster? All right. I got one more question for you,
all right.
Beeger. One more, and this
Okay.
is a tough one.
All right.
Everyone always says
I've already been tough.
Well, this is probably
you're a tough interviewer.
this is the hardest one, I think.
Okay.
Because usually, you know how people ask you, take out your crystal ball. What do you think this industry is going to look like? I'm not going to ask you that question.
Yeah, and that's okay.
I have a much more specific one. I have a very specific one because I've grown up in this space, Bob, and I've seen successful data center operators, and I've seen ones that potentially struggle. What I want you to help me understand in your expertise, right? It's 2031, right? Emerson Westinghouse is celebrating their 135th anniversary. Yeah, go team. We fast forward, what is ultimately going to separate data center operators that scale successfully from the ones that struggle?
Well, I think you've already hit on it. It's planning, it's selecting the right vendors, it's selecting proven technology versus overdoing the innovation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We have seen some data centers that don't understand the complexity of building a power plant and what it takes to do that. We've talked for the last 35 minutes on that. And you can get off in the weeds, okay? And then you'll wind up going down a path where you might get it to work, but because it isn't proven technology with all the years and years of reliability and experience in this 40 million lines of incredibly resilient, reliable code, you'll get into situations where you'll have a problem in the plant. You won't know exactly what the root cause of that problem was. And that's the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah.
Our code, another great thing about it is the ability to debug, not the control system, but debug the power plant. Everything is integrated to the millisecond. You have sequence of events reports. You can see exactly what happened to the millisecond. All the systems are coordinated so that you can see exactly what happened when at any area in the plant. And you go back and actually step through the logic, those 5,000 sheets of logic, and go to a specific algorithm and say, at that millisecond, here's exactly what triggered the event, and now I can see the cascading result. Because what you can't do, to answer your question, you can't go to the plant manager and say, well, we're not exactly sure what happened, but let's just start it up again and see if it happens again.
Oh,
That's not going to end. So it's reliable technology, it's all of the not over-innovating and building from your strengths. And if you do that, you won't fail.
Oh, that's such
You won't fail.
that's such good advice. Let's impart some final thoughts and words of wisdom to everybody listening to this conversation, because there's going to be a lot of data center people that are concerned about power. They are concerned about how do I integrate these systems. They are concerned about I've got all these heterogeneous systems, and now we've talked about Ovation as that true layer that can control all of it. You realize this isn't just for power. Like, we can control HVAC systems, cooling, pumping, whatever. A connection modality, Modbus, whatever you want to do in terms of connection to Ovation, we can manage and control this. So I think what you're talking about, the ones that will succeed will have, simply put, better visibility into the operational integration of their environment versus ones that are operating in silos, right?
When you walk into our control rooms, right, typically you do see one common look and feel, right? And behind the scenes, the whole balance of plant, many of the gas and steam turbine manufacturers, over the years, we developed these redundant, high-speed, time-synchronized interfaces to, of course, all of the subsystems, right, are totally integrated. So you don't walk into the control room and have, some small control system on a skid, right, that has a PLC on it, or some other system that has other diverse systems, and they don't really work together, which ultimately results in unreliability.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not reliable. But when you have that total coordinated control, not only is it easy for the operators to operate the plant, but we can take it to the next level and run in what we call full auto.
That's cool.
Large unit's online, and let's say it's 1,000 megawatts, and it's running, and the operator loses a pump or a fan or a motor. We don't want them to touch anything,
Right.
Because it's totally integrated, the whole plant. We gracefully do what's called a run back. Maybe we derate the plant to 1,000 megawatts to maybe 800, 750 megawatts, and say we saved the unit, which you will not do in a dissimilar, scattered. Which your previous question is, how do you, in 5 years from now, you have an unreliable plant? Well, if it's not integrated together, you'll have those problems. Derate the plant, you still maintain the load, 700 megawatts, and you go out and say, I know what it is. It's a mechanical problem. You fix that, and you bring the plant back up.
I believe this is an era of a fearless curiosity, right? But it can't just be wanton. It's got to be guided curiosity, right? And I absolutely believe that we're living at a point right now where vision without execution is just hallucination. Right?
Oh, that's a good one.
When we don't want our businesses doing that, we don't want AI doing that either, right?
No,
And I think my words of wisdom here and hearing everything that you talked about is that execution part of it is so critical, and based on everything that we talked about, just grab a gold nugget, incorporate it into your vision, and don't just sit on it. Like, do something with it,
Yes.
right? Those are my final parting words as far as like what I really gathered from this conversation, an actionable action item for people to take away. Any final thoughts, Bob?
Yeah, well, I would say as execution is all what it's about. I would also say that it's execution and customer satisfaction.
Agreed.
I would say the number one reason people work with us. Again, the technology is great. I think we do very well at that. But customer satisfaction, it's ingrained in our culture. It's who we are. It's what we do, and that will never change. And when we have all employee meetings and I get everyone together, I say, if there's one thing you learn about this company, I don't care if you come into work and you're a little tired, you were at the hockey game the night before, and but if a customer calls, have your A game on. And if you do that, we'll be okay.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate
bet.
your time, and thank you for all of your insight. This
All
was
right,
a lot
Bill.
of fun. Appreciate it.
Okay.
This was
All
awesome.
right, you bet.